Agent Smith, the program gone rogue that almost took control of the Matrix, evolving into a virus that only the One was capable of stopping. But what if Smith never actually escaped the control of the Matrix? That him going against the system was part of the purpose that was created for him. That he, like Neo, was under the control of the Oracle from the beginning. Welcome to Matrix Explained.
Welcome to the desert of the real.
After Smith's code was corrupted by the integral anomaly, he was slowly transforming into a dangerous virus with the capability of destroying everything in his path. But this was nothing more than an inevitability that resulted from the Oracle's manipulations.
Thus the answer was stumbled upon by another, an intuitive program, initially created to investigate certain aspects of the human psyche. If I am the father of the Matrix, she would undoubtedly be its mother.
The architect managed to achieve a near-perfect balance in the equation thanks to the Oracle, but that performance was still not perfect. It gave rise to the integral anomaly. But here comes the interesting part. The architect was looking for perfection, a 100% effectiveness in the simulation. The Oracle worked with the architect to find the answer. Choice was the first element that gave stability to the Matrix. First, is there something other than choice that the Oracle helped implement into the equation? Well, yes. The second, which was in the sixth simulation but not clearly pointed out, was emotions. The Oracle added emotions to the programs to create a more stable Matrix. She not only added a minor change that affected the humans, but also the Matrix programs to help them be more like humans. How do we know this? Well, let's see what the architect has to say.
It is interesting reading your reactions. Your 5 predecessors were, by design, based on a similar predication, a contingent affirmation that was meant to create a profound attachment to the rest of your species, facilitating the function of the One. While the others experienced this in a very general way, your experience is far more specific, vis-a-vis love.
The 5 previous anomalies were programmed with this predisposition, but Neo experienced it in a more specific way. He loved Trinity. Neo and his predecessors were programmed by the machines to feel love. While the previous 5 developed a love for their fellow man, Neo's love was focused primarily on a singular individual. This could be evidence that Neo is not as human as we thought. This is why the scene in Mobile Ave is so important. Ramachandra says that love is just a word. What matters is the connection that it implies, possibly referencing Neo himself, as the architect revealed that his love was by design. But why would machines program love in humans and other programs? The answer is simple. From the point of view of the machines, love is the most irrational human emotion. This irrationality escapes the balance of the Matrix. If they cannot understand it, they can't design a perfect Matrix. The machines are experimenting with this emotion as they did with choice, like a buggy computer program that is trying to be fixed with patches. But what does any of this have to do with Agent Smith? Now that we know that the machines are adding human emotions to the Matrix equation, we understand why Agent Smith revolted. The agent was experiencing emotions that were programmed into him without his knowledge. In the movie script of the original Matrix, while the agents are interrogating Morpheus, we can read how Smith is, for the first time, experiencing human emotions.
Why isn't the serum working?
Perhaps we're asking the wrong questions.
Agent Smith hides his nodding fist. He is becoming angry. It is something that isn't supposed to happen to agents.
Leave me with him.
Agent Brown and Jones look at each other.
Now.
The agents have always worked as a unit, but something begins to change within Smith. He is feeling an emotion that, according to the script, is something that is not supposed to happen. Bear in mind, this was before Neo corrupted his code. Smith disconnects himself from the other agents. He takes off his sunglasses and removes his earpiece. He is expressing individualism. His hatred has separated him from the other agents. He expresses his disdain and disgust for reality and everyone in it to Morpheus. Negative emotions are making him erratic and unpredictable. He is beyond the actions of a typical agent.
What were you doing?
He doesn't know. Know what?
Before Neo destroys Smith, the script mentions that the agent begins to feel like something was changing. Agent Smith gets up, bracing himself as Neo charges him and springs into a dive. But the impact doesn't come. Neo sinks into Agent Smith, disappearing, his tie and coat rippling as if they were a deep pool of water. Spinning around, he looks at the others and feels something, like a tremor before a quake. Something deep, something that is going to change everything. Smith was defeated, but of course, he would return. In Matrix Reloaded, he mentions that he knew what he must do, that he had to return to the source. This is because when a program no longer has a purpose, it must be deleted. But something changed. Smith decided to stay. Now we could interpret this as a result of Neo corrupting his code, as Smith himself sent his gratitude for freeing him. But as we have already seen, Smith expressed emotions long before Neo entered his body. Moving on to the scene where Smith meets the Oracle. Smith believes in determinism. He believes that everything that happens has a reason and a purpose, cause and effect, and he expresses that in the Oracle's kitchen.
The all-knowing Oracle is never surprised. How can she be? She knows everything. But if that's true, then why is she here? If she knew I was coming, why wouldn't she leave?
The Oracle allowed Smith to assimilate her. She allowed him to take her powers. She even taunted him to get it over with. This is a Bible reference when Jesus told Judas to do what he had to do after dining with him. Jesus knew that he was going to be betrayed. Allowing it was the only way for him to fulfill his mission. He had to sacrifice himself for humanity. This biblical allegory shows that the Oracle tricked Smith to fulfill her plan. Without him, Neo would have never sacrificed himself. Just as without Judas, there is no crucifixion of Christ. But why? Why does Smith have to nearly destroy the Matrix for Neo to sacrifice himself? Neo's predecessors' love for others led them to choose humanity and return to the source. Neo's love was focused on Trinity. He went against the original plan, though in the end, it didn't matter. He had to go to the source. Neo ultimately met the same fate in order to stop Smith. This is a part of the false choice created by the Oracle. Agent Smith mentions that he had already seen how everything was going to end.
You like what I've done with the place?
It ends tonight.
I know it does. I've seen it. That's why the rest of me is just going to enjoy the show. Because we already know that I'm the one that beats you.
He knows this because of the Oracle. He saw what she did. The Oracle knew everything before it happened. Smith and Neo were just pawns in an attempt to fix the error in the Matrix simulation. Maybe that's why the architect tells the Oracle that she played a dangerous game. She added irrationality to the equation, human emotions.
That's his purpose, to balance the equation,
What's your purpose?
to unbalance it.
But do you agree? Was it human emotions that caused Smith to revolt? Did the Oracle have control over Smith from the very beginning, and thus why she allowed herself to be assimilated by him? For Matrix Explained, please leave a like and subscribe, and thank you for visiting the Desert of the Real.